Well, let's just go back to some of the potential causes for this disaster. Key questions, these need to be answered. Firstly, who was in control? Was it the captain or the first officer who was in control? Both of them, remember, very, very experienced. The captain in particular, more than 10,000 hours, a Serbian pilot, well versed with Mangalore airport, as was the co-pilot. He's done several landings here as well. So even though Mangalore is considered a quote-unquote critical airport, pilots need to be careful as they land there. Both these pilots knew exactly what they were doing, and they'd done this many times in the past. Was there a delay in taking over controls? If the first officer, that's the pilot usually on the right, was actually landing the aircraft, something went wrong, it was the prerogative of the captain, if he felt, to take over control. So he would have said, mine, or something to that effect, or I'm taking over, and he would have done what he felt was right at that juncture. But was there a delay in taking over? Were the pilots fatigued? This was an early morning flight statistically, and this has been shown quite clearly that early morning flights and fatigue is a factor which has resulted in crashes many times in the past. Not a very long flight, this one, but nonetheless was fatigue a factor. Was there a communication problem? The pilot was of Serbian origin. The co-pilot was an Indian pilot. Was language an issue? Air India vociferously says there was no communication problem. Just because this pilot was a Serbian doesn't mean he couldn't speak English properly. Did the braking system fail? Now, once a plane lands, particularly on a runway which is relatively short, there are several systems which come into play. There are the spoilers. This is on the wing of the aircraft, surfaces which actually sort of go up like that. And all of you who've been on aircraft would have seen these. If you've been sitting near the wing, as the plane lands, the spoilers actually come up on both the wings, and in the process retard the speed of the aircraft. Then there's a device called a reverse thrust. What does the reverse thrust do? A reverse thrust, in fact, you can actually see it there in that picture. You can see the spoilers I was talking about above the wing, and beneath the wing it seems as if the engine is split in two. In fact, the engine is not split in two. The pilot has activated a system called the reverse thrust, where the exhaust of the engine is no longer directed backwards, but it's directed sideways, thereby again slowing down the aircraft. And the image that you see on your screens is the actual aircraft of Air India Express that crashed today. So this was a picture of this plane actually landing in Singapore. Did light rain cause the plane to skid? We are now told that in fact there was no light rain on the surface, so therefore that was not a factor. Was there an unexpected weather phenomena? This is the last point that I just briefly want to discuss. In a situation like this, there is clear air turbulence. There's also wind shear. These are terms which do the rounds in aviation circles, very critical terms. Unexpected weather phenomena, they can take place at even in the best weather conditions. Was there perhaps a change in wind speed? Did the plane get pushed as it was very low over the runway, as a result of which the pilot couldn't put the plane down? Was this a factor at all, a possible wind shear at a very low height or low altitude, or a change in wind direction? That's again something that needs to be looked into by investigators.
Tuba.com